Another world-class performance from Paul Pogba. Man United and OLE OUT through. That's the 7th clean sheet in 11 games. What a performance, especially in that second half. Man United dump the best team in the Europa League out. Another away victory, another clean sheet, another brilliant Paul Pogba performance. McFred absolutely dominated the midfield battle tonight. A lot of people are in the mud. United or not. Let's go, people. Congratulations, Manchester United, and well done. We all knew going away to Milan would be difficult. Excellent season they're having, second in Serie A. They were brilliant and actually dominated Manchester United in large parts at Old Trafford just 7 days ago. The first half in itself was fairly sketchy, some good moments, but United weren't really together. It wasn't a coherent together performance. And then what we saw was Paul Pogba come on at half-time, rightfully so, for Marcus Rashford. And Paul Pogba, he does so many of these games, Paul, for Manchester United, but seldom gets the credit and the praise that he deserves for them. Very, very rarely indeed. We used to, how many good games has he actually had for Man United? Today was just another one, another notch on the bedpost. But Man United fans have got to scream loud. They've got to stand up. They've got to shout. And it's why I'm putting it at the beginning of my piece tonight, because I don't want it to be forgotten. I don't want it to be something that's brushed under the carpet. He was the difference. He's the best technical football player at Man United, the best playmaker that we have. And when he came on, everybody else's game improved around him. Absolutely, absolutely brilliant from him. And I would say first half, Man United, I would say 5 out of 10. Second half, 8 out of 10. From front to back, we were excellent. Could we have scored more goals? Yeah. Were we looking to try and score lots more goals? No. We were trying to catch them on the counter, and Milan never really managed to come out. McTominay and Fred absolutely bossed the central midfield battle, especially in that second half. Ibrahimovic was left to one opportunity after coming on, and Henderson stepped up and was excellent in that. There was some wonderful play from Greenwood as well that really came alive in that second half. And in fact, we came a lot closer to scoring a second goal than Milan did to equalise it, in my opinion. Paul Pogba nearly putting the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake late on in the second half with a header that just went over. But Man United do enough. And in my opinion, when you look at all the teams now remaining in the Europa League, Man United are favourites. And so we should be expected to go on and win this tournament. But you look at who's left in it now. Ajax, Villarreal, Slavia Prague, Roma. Roma is still in it. Arsenal, Zagreb after knocking out Tottenham. And is it Mold went through as well tonight? Sorry, Granada went through. Zagreb, Arsenal. There's an opportunity, a big opportunity for Man United tonight. We knocked out, take ourselves out of the equation. Manchester United tonight knocked out the best team remaining in the tournament. We just went to the San Siro and kept a clean sheet. And that is the 7th clean sheet in the last 10 games. Defensively, Man United have come alive in recent weeks. We know set pieces we've still got to get better at, but we have improved. Goal scoring, we need to score more goals. We've got to finish some more chances. No one's kind of attacking Chelsea for that right now. Very impressed with the performance tonight. And we've done what I wanted us to, mentality. We saw it over the line after taking the lead. Nobody looked shocked. Towards the end of the game, McTominay did it brilliantly. Dan James did it at times. Run the ball into the wide areas, kept possession. Nobody was panicking and giving stupid balls away. That isn't about coaching. That isn't about techers. That isn't about anything other than mentality, maintaining concentration, and maintaining composure. And Man United were absolutely impeccable at that tonight. Jerome here says that's all you need in football is attitude, because Pogba showed he wanted to win the game, and that's what makes a team winners, not like my team. Obviously, Jerome is a massive Tottenham fan. Do me a big favor and smash the like button. We're going to start bringing the panel on very, very soon. Then we're going to go on to your calls a little bit later. I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans. I know there's a lot of Tottenham fans that also want to have their say. We couldn't go through everything earlier on. Monster here says Pogba showed that what United were missing in the last couple of games. This game was about compact discipline and getting through. Congrats to United. And of course, Paul Pogba showed this because we have nobody else in our squad at Pogba's level. And I mean this with respect to Fred and McTominay, Matic, and Bruno Fernandes. From a ball-playing perspective, there's nobody else like him. It isn't as if we're Man City and we can take out a Mahrez and bring in a Bernardo Silva. We don't have that luxury and that strength in depth, which is why more money needs to be spent. And in recent weeks, Donny was out as well. But United got the job done tonight. Pogba is going to be essential moving forward. We need him fit for the remainder of the season. And who knows what we can pull up and what we can do. Let's do a few more of these comments here before the panel come on with us. See, my voice is almost gone today. The San Siro is never full. I want to sing it, but the voice is nearly gone. And do you know what? I don't care that this isn't a great Milan team, but going to the San Siro and winning is just an amazing feeling. It's a historic stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. And look, we did it with an ex-City player, a current Man United player, and an ex-United player in Zlatan, all on the pitch. Just great. I don't know. Something about tonight. It's just very, very romantic indeed. Tottenham dropping out like they did as well. Being in the mud makes it all the better. Terry, is Pogba going to leave then? I don't know. I have no idea. I truly hope not. I want Paul Pogba to stay because it's almost impossible to replace him. It's almost impossible to replace him. We have to try and keep Paul Pogba if we can. And who knows if this new DOF and the TD are going to do. By the way, speaking of technical directors, did you see that video of Paul Pogba and Darren Fletcher playing the game in the circle? Darren Fletcher's better on the ball than some of our midfielders now, you know. Maybe he should come out of retirement. Maybe. It's a little bit of a joke. No one take me seriously on that. I'm only messing around. We're going to bring some of the panel on now before moving forward. I want to know who your man of the match is. I know who you're all going to give it to. It has to be Paul Pogba tonight. If it isn't, I want an explanation in your super chat as to why. For all the Man United fans that cried about the starting lineup, stop crying about starting lineups. Do you know what I mean? Just stop crying about them. Ollie knew what he was doing tonight and he got it right. So I want your apology to be as loud as your criticism. I know he didn't make subs tonight, but I didn't think it was needed. The game was too finely balanced. Everything tonight I felt was impeccable. Not the first half performance, but we got better. And like in most things in life, and gentlemen, ask your other half this question. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. That's the important thing here. Let's bring some of the panel on now to have their say. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Let's do this. Yes. Welcome, people. We've got Lincoln backstage coming on very soon. AJ here, Cam's here, Bits is here, Neeks is here, Johnny's here. Hang on a minute. Hang on a fucking minute. Is Johnny smiling? Is Johnny actually smiling? Hey! Look at that.
Johnny's Pogba FC. Johnny's Pogba FC.
I want to go to KJ first. Give me your thoughts, bro.
Oh, I love it. This week, just bare people just chatting bare crud. The rivals, salty Man United fans, everyone chatting bare crap. And today, I'm just happy, man. I'm just happy we got through over the line and bare people can shut up here. Yes, it's the Europa League. Yes, it's not this great AC Milan team. But you know what, yeah? Y'all was saying we was going to get smashed by them. 2-3s. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to the San Siro and score. You won't be able to keep a clean sheet. So shut your mouth, man. All these people, or what's Paul Pogba done in the Man United shirt? Shut up, man. Stop it. The agendas need to stop running on this guy's name. He is our best player. He is, hands down. I don't care. Bruno, I respect you. But when we need it, he turns up. He shows up and his quality is beautiful to see. I'm just happy, man. We got over the line and go to the next round. Come on, man. Big up United.
Absolutely. Neeks, how about yourself, mate? As KJ alluded to, a lot of negativity from United fans in the build-up, players being attacked, moaning about starting lineups. I saw, like last night, I saw more Man United fans praising and knocking one out over Chelsea than I've ever seen them praise Man United. how pleased were you with the victory and the manner of the performance tonight from Man United overall?
I felt for me, if Paul Pogba played any length of time in this game, whether he started and came off after 60, in this case, he came on at half time, so played 45 minutes, I felt we'd win. AC Milan played out of their skin last week. I know they had a few players out, but they played out of their skin. But Dean Henderson wasn't making save after save, and they scored in the last minute. We're not great, but this AC Milan side, I was not expecting us to go. I expected us to score today. The only question will be how many we score, and are we going to keep a clean sheet at the back? And we've kept another clean sheet. You know, we talk about not scoring goals, but we've kept another clean sheet in the past few weeks. So respect to the defense, respect to Victor Lindelof. He had a very, very good game today. But Paul Pogba, I mean, listen, quality knows quality. We saw the first half was poor. Bruno Fernandes was poor in that first half. Paul Pogba comes on, and Bruno Fernandes is a different guy. Paul Pogba lifted that whole team. He did what he did as an individual and lifted everyone around you. And I said, this match alone, first half, second half, highlights exactly how big, how huge this summer is for Man United, because there's not enough quality in the squad. And we saw the difference between not having quality in that first half and having quality in that second half.
You know what, Nick? It's almost as if it's a team sport. Do you know what I mean? And the teams that have the most amount of quality in terms of players perform best as a collective. I love Pep Guardiola; he's amazing. But I'm telling you, like people act like if he had 12 bang average players and 13 world class players, his team would still dominate like they do. It's just an absolute. It's farcical. We had a super chat here from Gio that says, "Big up, Terry. Big up to the United for moving on. Pogba changed the game. He is the best player at United. I don't want to hear about Bruno is United's best player." And you know, I will say that. Listen, everyone's entitled to think Bruno's the best player, Pogba's the best player. For me, it's like this: if you think Pogba's the best player and not Bruno, I wouldn't be triggered by someone thinking Bruno's better. Just go, do you know what? I Bruno's amazing. I think Pogba's better, and celebrate having two top class players who are different from each other. We don't have to. They both play for Man United. We don't have to play against each other.
Yo, guess who was jumping on Paul Pogba's back after he scored?
Bruno Fernandes.
Smiling. Bruno Fernandes. Stop pointing them against each other. They're both brilliant.
I totally agree. Johnny's with us. Obviously, you're very outspoken about how Man United play, how they perform, lineups. Give me your thoughts on winning that game tonight in the manner we did. Another clean sheet through to the quarterfinals.
Listen, I'm OLE OUT. No one's changed. I'm OLE OUT. But credit where credit's due tonight. I did my own show tonight called Johnny's United Talk, and I was saying on my own show that Ole needs to bench Pogba reluctantly and regrettably because McFred is dead. Anybody who advocates for that midfield, get in the bin. Dead midfield. But Pogba, right, he couldn't come straight off injury, and I had to go with my head and not my heart. I wanted Pogba on, but Ole made the right call. I tweeted it. It's on evidence on Twitter. He made the right call. I said, bring him on second half. See if we beat first half out. Just get to the first half, 0-0. And he did that. Brought him on. Excellent from Ole. Give him all his credit. I've got no bad to say about Ole. Paul fucking Pogba, right? Anybody that wants Paul Pogba at this club, shame on you. Shame on you. And you're right, Terry. I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not Bruno's biggest fan, but having Bruno and Pogba in the same team, we're blessed. We are blessed because when one's dropping off, other one picks up slack, and they bounce off each other. And Bruno, Pogba dragged that team through tonight. They did. I'm so happy for him. Honestly, I'm so happy for him. I'm buzzing. I'm going to work tonight with a big smile on my face. No negative to say. There is, but I'm not going to bring it up because I just don't think it's not needed tonight. I'm just going to enjoy the game. There
are still deficiencies in Man United, but I always feel that when you win a game, there's no need for a fan to put. Like, we know that there's still things that need to be fixed. Would we love to take Fred and McTominay and swap them for Ndidi and Verratti? Yeah, of course. Like, of course we would. But that can't be done tonight. Bits and bobs. What you saying, bro?
Just one more thing. And I always get on to Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. You know I do. They're not my cup of tea at all. But I have to applaud them tonight. Both of them played well. And that's it now.
Cheers, mate.
Listen. Oi, all I'm going to say is Pogba's a virus. Pogba's this. Pogba's that. Listen, what are my 4 words? Yeah, so what? Shut your mouth. Listen, it came on. We saw the difference today of poor and quality. Bruno looked a completely different person when Pogba came on. Do you know what it looked like today? You know when you're in secondary school and the two olders, the two best football players, are playing against some dud players. That's what it looked like. Real recognizes real. It's quality recognizes quality. Today, what we saw a player that came on and was just Paul Pogba. Off the left, we all talk about where he should play. Listen, give him the ball. He held it up. He was strong. We saw the presence. We saw when he brought that ball down from the heavens and just glazed it like it was beautiful. And we saw the difference. And he got the goal. We saw the little feint with the kick, and then he scored. The difference today was Paul Pogba. And it's a shame because Victor Lindelof probably had one of his best games today. And for us guys, look, I'm shameless. Listen, clean sheet away again. He's getting a new contract. Listen, let's not get too gassed. We've done the job. We move on. We move 100%.
Them Spurs fans are pretty quiet tonight, aren't they?
You know what?
Go on, Bob.
I just think that there was a lot of people that want this player out, Pogba, in our fan base, which is crazy. And there's a lot of people that say Bruno's better than Pogba. Look, if you know ball, you know ball. Pogba is our best player at the club, 100%. Just because Bruno had an unreal 12 months. Today was a great example of why we should just say to Pogba, what do you want? Because today, Pogba doesn't play. Guys, I hate to say it, we probably don't win that game, But yeah, man, look, guys, listen, Monday, right? Smiles, man. Hey, we won.
Right, listen, come on.
Johnny, there needs to be more of that for Man United fans. We have a little pop and we have a little bit of a dig at rivals. Have a dig at our rivals that have been knocked out tonight, because if Spurs
loving each other
tonight, we're still in that. And like you just said, of course, Paul Pogba for me, technically, is our best footballer. Bruno is probably our best match winner overall. But you need multiple players like that. You do. At the end of the day, Man United, when we were last at our scintillating best in 2008, you can't even compare Paul Scholes and Cristiano Ronaldo's abilities, but you need them both. In fact, but we weren't winning anything until Michael Carrick turned up and was that final piece of the jigsaw. It's about the team. Cam's here. What you saying, bro?
Oh man, let me just say, I've been saying it for time on Twitter. I've been saying to everybody, Paul Pogba experience is now over. Like the him not being in the team is now over, because I was hating it. Him not being in the team, it was crazy for me watching us play without him. We're one midfielder away, Declan Rice, from being the best midfielder in the world, in my opinion. And I'll say that with chest. I'm so happy to see him out there in the way he played today. It's exactly what we need. Like, him and Bruno are a perfect complement to each other. It took Ollie a bit to figure out how to play them together, but he has, and ever since he had, we've looked brilliant. And without Pogba, we do look like kind of dog crap sometimes. The McFred midfield doesn't really work. And I want to say something here that I go on Lindelof heavily a lot, but today he left the model part of him at home, and he brought the Viking. That was a Viking display. That man played his heart out today. He played his heart out today, and nobody can say anything wrong about what Victor Lindelof did today. It was a beautiful performance. You said if you had a man of the match other than Pogba, honestly, I wouldn't be mad if somebody said that Victor Lindelof was man of the match, because he had match-saving tackles today. He was all over the pitch. He played fantastic. So he's got to get his dues too. But honestly, all the flowers to Paul Pogba, all the flowers to Ollie today, because he started Rashford knowing Rashford was injured. He knew Rashford did, but he knew he couldn't start Pogba. So what do? You go with the best team you can at the time, and then you switch it up when you have to make that change. And we had to make the change at half. Ollie has had this habit of making the change at like the 63rd minute. He went in the dressing room, probably looked at Rashford, been like, how you feeling? Not good. Pogba, let's go. Put him on the pitch. And now we're the favorites to win this tournament. And we just got to go on, press on, and win that cup, man, because listen, we got to win a trophy under Ollie. If they're going to play like this throughout the rest of the tournament, you got this. I'm feeling good.
We need to appreciate the tactical defensive switch when as soon as Ibrahimovic came on, higher line. Man was just offside all the time, bro. Every single time offside. He won a header.
In-game management, KJ. In-game management.
Yeah, it was beautiful from Ollie and from the defenders. They all realized, actually, bro, this man's slow, bro. Man's going to be trying cheating, fam. Get them head starts before the gun goes. Now, upon that, high line.
I think what stands out about that for me, like I've said, would I like a better manager than Ollie tactically? Of course I would. But what frustrates me with a lot of Ollie's detractors is the no tact. It's like the zero tactical awareness, zero gameplay, zero. That just annoys me because I think you be hyperbolic and exaggerate about your rivals. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna be sort of all encompassing, unyielding, unequivocal in a statement, do that about your right. When it's your own club, I never really get why you would do that. If that makes sense, that doesn't sit right, especially to a club legend like Ollie. And I do think we need to look beyond him. But tonight, credit in every single which way because Man United were absolutely brilliant. There's no doubt about that at all. Pogba as a winger is better than Rashford as a winger, is what eye testers said.
Let me say to that. Pogba, as probably every position in midfield, is better than most players in the world in those positions. Pogba, I said it, as Didier Deschamps said, Pogba can do everything on the football field. He just can't do everything at the same time. Ask him something to do, and he'll do it. So I don't care if he's better than Rashford as a winger.
And that's always been Paul Pogba's biggest issue at Man United from how he's perceived by the outsider. Is 1 minute he's playing advanced, then he's playing deep, then he's playing left. And it's like, well, this week he didn't score your goals. He's playing in the double pivot. A week later, he's playing in the 10 role, like a sort of 10 or supporting a striker. He weren't dictating the play in the middle. Nah, bro, because that's not what those players do. It's the way he has been treated by the mainstream media and pundits is nothing short of scandalous. And the reason I shout so loudly about big Pogba performances is people try and act like they haven't happened. We had it I don't know who came on it the other day. I don't remember which caller it was, but they were like, tell me one game, more than 2 games he's had where he's actually been impactful for United.
Fixer.
It's like we named like 4 or 5 this season alone. That was without even thinking about it. He's such a star. I'm glad he's back because we're in the FA Cup. It's a huge weekend for us against Leicester coming up. Still in the Europa League. And for me, when I look at all the other teams in there, of course, there's teams in that can beat us. But we are by far and away the favourites now to win this. And we're going to need to get that done.
I was my closing summary. If I can give all this some constructive criticism, not hate, right? Constructive criticism. I think with Bruno, we'd all agree today, Bruno looked dead on his feet towards the end. And it's no surprise because he never gets a rest. I think it would have been a wise move to bring Matic on, push Pogba forward and let him see the game out because we all know Bruno's going to start the game on Sunday. I'm not trying to be hating him. I'm just trying constructive criticism, be balanced.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Johnny. I get what you're saying, right? And we need to. Do you know what? I get what you're saying, but we also need to assess the squad as well. In the same sentence, we're saying he needs a rest. However, we need to look at the other fit centre midfielders. You know, I can imagine Ollie probably didn't want to bring Pogba on at half time, but it was that bad that he had to. And you're asking Pogba, you're asking Van de Beek, how much can you give me? And we don't know what the answer is. And unfortunately, right now, he's all we've got to play in that position.
My point is, right, we've got Leicester on Sunday.
I get what your point is. I hear what you're saying.
I don't know.
I want to
let me finish up. I'll leave you 2 minutes. For me, Bruno was poor tonight throughout. It was poor. And I don't think that's because he's a shit player. I think he was just tired. I think he's knackered. I don't think he's knackered. And I think it would have done him a lot of favours to bring Matic on for the last 15, 20 minutes to see the game out and just let Bruno have rest because he will start on Sunday because we need him. But I'm just like, Dan James Smith tonight, crap. We could have brought Ahmad on for 15 minutes. I'm just saying, like, he could have just rotate the squad a little bit is all I'm saying. Look, I don't want to go too negative, right?
I agree.
I think a rotating thing. I suppose the problem that Ollie had, doesn't think this. If he brings a Mad on and then we can see down that side, it's why do you make the change? I almost feel with Ollie, whatever he does, whether we get the positive result or a negative result, there's always something he could have done different. The only thing I agree with is that Bruno needs some rest coming up because I've got a feeling we could push quite deep into both cup competitions and we're going to need Bruno fit. We don't want him being exhausted at the end. So that's absolutely right. Johnny, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say.
Tonight. Well done, Ollie. It deserves his credit. And it's not an agenda. It deserves his credit. So well done, Ollie. Thanks for having me on, guys. And
cheers, Johnny. Thank you, mate. We've got Adam Matic with us here now as well, back on the football terrace tonight. Hello, mate. Welcome back. Give us your thoughts on the performance, the result, and what next in this tournament for us.
Tonight, I thought, I just tweeted it out then, I thought we managed the second half extremely well tonight. I thought we dealt with what was coming, what was needed to be changed, which is the midfield. Obviously, I didn't see it changing that way, but Pogba still come on and made a massive influence on the game. Just seeing Donny van der Beek and Paul Pogba being back on the bench tonight gives you a little bit of a lift, knowing you're going into this crazy spell of games now after the international break. But tonight, it just felt like we had an option tonight, whereas in previous weeks, it's looked like we've been struggling squad-wise. It looks like we've not had anyone to come on and have an impact on the game. Paul Pogba tonight, again, he's just on a different planet. He's on an absolute different planet to anything else in his position, wherever he plays on the pitch. And you could see the class all around him tonight. And that's the type of player that we need. I mean, he's not got much to work around him because a lot of our midfield and our forwards are out of form at the moment, drastically clutching at straws right now. But even in the second half when Pogba came on, Fred's and McTominay's game went up a notch. You could see players around him and the influence that he had on the game and other players just by being on the pitch. And that's what Ollie is going to need. He's going to need that influence on the pitch going forward in these next few weeks because we've got some massive games now. It's going to be 2 or 3 games a week for the next few weeks of the season. We know what's coming. We had it last season. It's all the same again this season. But tonight, for me, the biggest factor tonight, again, and I keep going on about it, I haven't got an agenda against him, but Dean Henderson, for me, Bobs will back me up on this. I've had him on this many a time. How good all of a sudden do Maguire and Lindelof look when we've got a goalkeeper who is commanding as Dean Henderson behind them? They're playing their best football of the season. But for his mistake against AC Milan, how many clean sheets would that be in a row? He's had a tough run of games to do. He's had the double header against Milan City, West Ham, Palace. I know what, hopefully he gets to play against Leicester before the international break this weekend just to top it off because I think he's earned it. But right now, we're pretty much pants up front at the moment. We're hoping that these players come back into some bit of form going into these last few games because we're going to need them. But right now we look solid, don't we? That's one thing we can say. That is the biggest positive I'm taking from this. And if you're solid, you've got a chance. No one's complaining about Chelsea at the moment being rock solid and keeping clean sheet after clean sheet, climbing the table, knocking out quality teams. If you've got a good, solid foundation in your goalkeeper and your defence, we've got the best left back in England at the moment. We've got a centre-back partnership which is working well with the goalkeeper. They come as a free. It's not about individual performances. I thought Maguire and Lindelof were excellent tonight. I thought Shaw had an off game, but he still did his job. Even when he wasn't great, he still looked solid enough. And combined at the moment, that back four is giving me a little bit of confidence. That's what I'm taking out of it. I'm not happy with McFred, but now I'm seeing different options and we can change that in a Donny van der Beek. Is this the time that Donny's going to come in now? Now that everyone's on their ass. I can't remember who it was. It was just saying Bruno looks dead on his feet then. Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's true. Maybe Donny's time now.
Before we move on to the midfield options, and Donny, Henderson, that save from Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, he made up for it, didn't he? He did. He made up for like the first leg. That's what it's supposed to do last week.
He did it last week, but he did it again, but in the more important moment.
It is
in the more important moment.
And interestingly, you mentioned there about Donny van der Beek, which I think is key. Is rotation is now needed, and I sort of had a feeling a few months back that part of the reason that Donny was being held back was to unleash him a bit later on in the season. It was all confirmed officially that he was on new diet, new strengthening regime to build up a bit more strength because he complained that the league was a bit fast and a bit physical for him. I felt in this last month when he's been out, I think we would have seen a lot of Donny in these games, and that would have been when the rotation came in. It was almost just ironic and poetic injustice that he got injured at the same time as he was going to be used, and it has to happen now because Rashford and Bruno, they've had excellent seasons, but they look exhausted because we haven't had the rotation, and that's where for me Ollie's going to live and die by his decisions this season over the next keeps playing them 90 minutes a pop week in week out. For the international break's an interesting one. I never normally advocate this, but I really want Bruno and Rashford to pull out and just say not feeling great. If they can get
Do what Fergie used to do. Fergie used to tell like the gigs and them kind of
say
that you're
you got
injured and you can't go.
Yeah, it's like what's the name, innit? It's like Dortmund are not letting Jude Bellingham go, are they? Dortmund are holding Bellingham back. They don't want
he's
him
not allowed
to
to
go.
go.
That's what Southgate was saying. He's
They're
not sure
kicking off. They're kicking off. They don't want him to go. They don't want him to go.
Rashi especially should not be going.
Should not be going.
He should not be going.
He shouldn't. And if he does, listen, Rashford, brother, I love what you're doing, but you know, he's doing this great camp. He's working hard as a footballer. He's campaigning like a madman in a good way away from football. It's exhausting. He needs some time. He needs some rest for himself because he'll burn himself out, not just this season, but he'll do himself lasting damage as well. We had a super chat though, gents, and I want to ask about this and kind of delve into this a bit more. It says, Terry, do you genuinely think we, the Man United, are favourites? I don't think so. I can see you guys. Also, this is not a United fan. I can see you guys bottle it and blame the same players you're praising now. I mean, bottling it would say we're favourites. You can't bottle something you're not favourites for. I mean, what about yourselves, Bobs? Do you think that Man United should consider themselves the front runners to win this?
I think Man United, Fergie said it best, didn't he? Any competition that we are in, we want to win. Okay. For me, let's not get carried away. Let's just say because our name is Man United, everyone will seem to look to us to be we're favourites and stuff. We still need to respect everyone in this competition, as we saw today. You know, North London club, not the other Banter FC club, they got knocked out from a bunch of minors. So I think
and the prisoner, bro.
And a prisoner. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Someone was doing a prison break in that. Do you know what I mean? El Chapo stuff. But listen, I think you can call us favourites, but it's not going to come out of our mouths. I don't think. I think we're all reasonable, competent, sensible Man United fans.
Coming out of my mouth.
I think we are. I think we are favourites. I think we have to own it. We have to own it. We are favourites. It doesn't mean we're going to win it, but we are favourites.
I don't want the pressure, Neeks. I don't want that pressure.
We're Man United. We all got the pressure. You can't run away from it.
Man United.
You can't run away from it.
Just yet, because we're not really playing how Man United.
But those players. The reason why we do bottle all these finals is because of the pressure. The players know the pressure of playing for Man United, and a lot of them cannot handle it. If they were playing for maybe another side, they may be free to play in those quarters and semis if they were to get them, because if they lost, nobody expected them anyway. But the pressure of playing for Man United is there, regardless of whether we're a peak Fergie or we're in the situation we are now. We have to own it. We can't run away.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. This phrase bottling, because I hate it when it comes to like you get to a semi or final, you lose to a good team or a team that plays well, and it's bottling. It's like
for me,
you can just lose a game.
Bottling it is a very British expression, and it's basically it's even when you're the favourite, and like tonight, what Spurs did should be in the definition for bottling it. They were 2-0 up against an inferior team. Equally, if you go into a game and you're bossing the match, but you just don't step up to the plate and then you crumble, that's bottling. And
final thing is when you are in position to win, and in the dying moments you draw or lose.
I get that. But now let's say you go up against Arsenal in a final or something, and it's a great game and it's back and forth, and you lose the game. Everybody on social is going to say we bottle it, when it's just like you could just lose a game.
But that's why I said bottle. But we played Man City in two of those semi-finals, and we weren't favourites going in. Yet we lost, and they say we bottled four semi. No, we lost to the better side twice.
Yeah. So again, but rivals are always going to do that. And by the way, that's what you're meant to do. It's like I always say, I get that we criticise our own club. It was so nice to hear Johnny tonight have a pop at a different club rather than his own. It's like we should, I'm sure Adam will agree. Like he's grew up in Manchester. He probably spent his whole life laughing at Man City and winding up the Scousers. That's what you're meant to do. And of course, you need your club to be in a good position to be able to do that. But look, United have definitely bottled some of these big games, and there are others where we've just been beaten by teams.
Let's all enjoy the Jose Mourinho headlines in the papers for a change tomorrow, right? Let's enjoy reading them.
Or have you seen the Spurs fans' tweets, fam? The PTSD, bro. I'm like, I remember saying this back then.
Is that my burner account? Is that my old Twitter account?
Yeah, that is true. It's that they. Do you know what it was mad? The lad Orsic that scored the hat trick. I mean, I want him to get headlines. I want him to get headlines. I want him to get that he won't. But no, I'm talking like I want Nike to spot. I want something so great to happen for him. I'm not talking like he's a plumber that's playing part-time football. He's obviously earning good money. He's a Croatian international, but I want him to. 2 of his goals were just out of this absolute world. But it's Dynamo Zagreb. Like it's unthinkable. If we got dropped, but the thing is, if we got dropped by Milan, I think we're better than them overall. We've got a more valuable squad. But it's still AC Milan. They've still got class players. They're second in Serie A. Dynamo Zagreb. It doesn't. Listen, I thought us getting knocked out by Sevilla in the Champions League was embarrassing. This takes the biscuit. This takes the biscuit, Spurs.
Well,
like
Jose, I'm surprised. Jose must have come out and say that's football heritage because Spurs don't win nothing. Football heritage.
Quiet. Rather these guys like respect.
Yeah.
3 Europa Leagues for me. I don't know how many for Spurs. Respect, man.
I would love to see him walking into that dressing room, just going up to each of the players' faces, just going 3. You're the shit, guys. I've got 3 Premier Leagues. Like, listen, Jose's, I said it a year ago. We got mocked up by that massive YouTube account. I don't know what they call it, HRT or something.
That whatever.
And he was like, I said it along. Jose's mentality is gone. He can't handle it. His teams fall apart. And the crazy thing is, if you look at the timescale of the fallout at Milan, Chelsea second time round, United, Spurs, it's just got quicker. And that shows you that he's losing grip because he reverts the type a lot sooner rather than later. And it's just, listen, it's great to see it happen. It was great to see the Spurs fans in meltdown. We're going to go to some...
Sorry, could I just say, I wanted to bring it back quickly before you go to the calls, to Adam's points about the players but basically the players in our squad. And we talk about McTominay and Fred and how they look better in the second half. When you ask players to do the job they're good at this level, they're generally able to do the job they're good at. I'm saying when we've got Rashford, Dan James, Greenwood, and we're asking McTominay and Fred, and of course Bruno, to supply them with through balls and create, it's never going to happen. You bring in another creator now, it's like McTominay, Fred, just break up play and give it to a better player who can do that. Yeah. So again, shout out Indiana, innit? Yeah, we need a top class striker. But if we got Dan James running down blind alleys and not imagine you saw Greenwood running through today. Imagine Haaland's running through. Dan James is like, nah, let me run through and try and win a penalty. No, you put your striker through, but we haven't got players who even have the ability, let alone the IQ to know when to pass and when to run and when to shoot.
What have I been saying to him? Yes, this elite striker come and make the runs, but when the right winger don't even have the quality to play him through, you'll be upset that your elite striker ain't getting no service.
Wasting him. And then the elite striker is going to go to Mino Raiola and say, I want out. I want to leave. I'm not getting the service. Come on, man. We need more creativity.
As you know, with Man United, like, listen, I don't defend McFred to the point where I think they're better than what people... I know their levels. I defend them, though, because it's... As a collective, it's the best we've got. The problem we have in midfield, barring Pogba, is all our midfielders are good at 1 or 2 things, but they're not complete. So you don't play McFred, you lose mobility. So you might have better passes on the pitch, but I think you lose the mobility to track, to press, to win the ball back. Matic looks like he's running in concrete boots as an example. Pogba can, of course, do that role very well, but he's by himself. If you put Pogba in that double pivot with one of them, you lose the creative spark moving forward because we don't have anybody. So if you play Pogba in the double pivot, but you threw a Jack Grealish into the attack creativity, you'd be fine. Or vice versa, you need better holding.
Oh, you go out and you buy what United really need, which is an out-and-out proper holding midfield player.
Exactly. If you go and do that, and that's it. So you need to. It's the one thing I say. I'm not saying Ole is anywhere near the levels of Peps of this world, etc. We've seen this season with Klopp, when you get enough injuries, and then Klopp made mistakes by playing. Look at the difference at Liverpool when they put Fabinho back into the middle. Suddenly, their midfield doesn't look leaky. They're holding on to the ball better. They're protecting. Suddenly, everyone's raving about how good Nate Phillips and Kabak are. No, they've now got protection in front of them. The fullbacks are not being exposed because those midfielders are now covering those areas for them, and the system's working again. Why? Because you've got better players in their natural positions. If you literally took 5 or 3, if you just gave City one creative player on the ball and the rest were just McTominay, Fred level, with Pep, they could still probably win a league because he's that good a coach. But are they tracking all the 100 points and a quadruple? Get out of here! It ain't happening. It ain't happening. You need both those things collectively. And Ole has his deficiencies, and there's no doubt. I still think he's hit his ceiling. I'm not going to change my mind. But acting like Man United, I get we got there's Donny, and I think Donny should play more. And maybe we're moving forward. Maybe he beefs up a bit, settles in the league, etc. Comment here says we need to buy.
No, we don't.
Listen, he got pocketed tonight.
He's better than.
Listen, I'm just saying.
Look, guys. But see, when this is actually because he's played a couple of games. Look, we want to go and win the league. We want to go and dominate football. Do you know what I mean? No. We're not buying Frank Kessie. Get that out of your head, bro. This is not FIFA. This is not career modes, mate. Do you know what I mean? We're Man United. If we want to be on the back on top of like the best of Europe and everything, we need to go and buy the best person in that position. Literally. And Frank Kessie, isn't it? Simple as that. Did you watch him at the weekend? He didn't play that well at the weekend. Do you know what I mean? We need to remember, anytime a team or certain players play against Man United, they tend to raise their game 20-30% more.
All I'm going to say is this. Neeks will remember this name. KJ's probably too young to remember him playing. Bob's Adam's about my age, so he'll remember. Karol Poborski. We bought him. We
bought that guy because he loved Peter Schmeichel in Euro 96. That's literally it. Eric Cantona went to Sir Alex Ferguson and said, look, I've got a player for you here. I've got a player for you here coming through in France. And he bought out Karol Poborski instead. That player was Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah.
Cantona touted Zidane.
He didn't.
And told him.
Give him...
And we picked Karol Poborski. Because he loved Schmeichel with a brilliant goal. I remember it was at Villa Park in 96.
Yeah.
In the Euros. Brilliant goal. But
look at Liverpool did with Dribbler or Cisse. Like I'm saying this now. I know for a fact that 95% of football Twitter had no idea who this gentleman was a week ago. Do you know how I know? Because I've been streaming for all these years. I do bare transfer videos. The name has never been mentioned in a stream. No one's ever said, Terry, what about this guy? I've never seen his name trending after an AC Milan game.
Exactly.
He had one decent performance and scored a goal that was just allowed for handball against United. And suddenly, we've got to buy him. It's slow down and
actually, we were linked with him. We were linked with him a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We were
when he was at
it was one of those situations where he was like, my dream is to play for United. It wasn't, he said it and then they picked it
what
up.
I mean is he's not been a credible link from anybody, but he has one good game and it's like, got to buy him. And then when you say no, it's you don't know ball, Terry. No, I don't play Football Manager. I that's all I don't do, bruv. Like, I'm never going to advocate for buying a player that I only literally heard of him when I watched him play against us once. And if he had a Zidane level performance where he was picking,
but Terry saying that if we didn't do that, we may not have Cristiano.
Yeah, but listen, let me say about Cristiano.
No, that's a different case, man.
No. Bob's will answer that. Right?
Well, you could have had Ronaldinho in the summer if we'd have done our job properly. Then Ronaldo wouldn't have even been on the scene, would he?
Yeah, £500,000 more and Ronaldinho is ours. But on Cristiano Ronaldo, the only difference between that era to now is social media didn't exist. Everybody knew who Ronaldo was as a 16, 17-year-old because he was trialing everywhere. Like Arsenal should have signed him and they said no. So they knew who he was. I think it was a case of United played against him and were like, yeah, he's because there's always a new young hype kid and they played against him and we're just the rumors are or the stories are that the boys all went in the change room at half time and said, Fergie, buy him.
Wasn't someone late to the plane? Like,
they were on the bus. They were
on the bus. They're waiting because they were tying it up.
Yeah,
you know what the difference is, obviously we're all football fans, but this is like world-class players telling Fergie, you need to sign this player. We know what we've just saw. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? So, yeah, I agree with you. And when we were linked with Kessie, I remember reading people like, who's he? He's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, man. Fans are just reactionary, man. Well, some fans are.
Yeah, no, I agree that we're going to go to some of your calls now to come on, have your say. First up, Fixer is here. The big Pogba hater is here. Fixer's on the line. What you saying?
No, that's not fair, man. I didn't say I hate him, man. I never said that. If you replay it, I said he's an amazing player. I said he's an amazing player, but
I promise, like, and even it's been a weird these past few months.
In the mud, mate. You're in the mud.
We're never gonna enjoy that talent because he really plays for us, you know. Like, don't get me wrong, Pogba is a continental player. Give him 5-6 weeks, and you probably win any tournament you're in. But beyond that, you know, like, he's not consistent enough. I'm sorry, and I'm standing by that.
Come on, man. That's insane. Okay,
that's fact.
Okay, no, what do you mean that? Pogba has shown up in all the big games we needed him to. Think about City a few years ago when Pogba was the one who dragged us back.
Exactly, a few years ago.
No, I'm just saying.
Newcastle.
Newcastle. I can bring up. No, I'm just giving you like the big one that everybody should remember. But Pogba literally.
Victor, let me ask you a question, bro.
Listen.
So, Victor, we need a creative player who's good on the ball, that can come up with goals, that can dictate play and dominate games. If Pogba's not consistent enough, who would you sign? Who's a realistic signing for Man United? So don't name a City player, a Barca player, a Liverpool player. Who could be signed that could come in and do that job more consistently and to the same standard as Pogba?
They're players out there, man. They're players out there. Let me tell you something. It's one thing here. You can be the most amazing player in the world, yeah. But if you're not going to be available, then what's the point? Like, I'm not saying he's not a good player.
He wasn't asking you that.
That isn't my question. Stop doing a Matt Hancock on us here and answer the question. Who has his ability and is more consistent and does the things that Pogba can do? Name me that player that Man United could realistically sign. Someone just said Ndidi. Listen, I love Ndidi.
Ndidi, no.
Different player.
But now that somebody mentioned Ndidi, if you can have Ndidi for 90% of the time, or have Pogba for 40%, which one would you go for?
Wait. Fixer. Ndidi's been injured this season, and he was injured last season. So you know what I'm saying. So what go on with the being available thing then for Ndidi then? Don't you want him then?
Ndidi wasn't as. I'm not saying I want Ndidi, but even if you have Ndidi, Ndidi doesn't get injured as much as Pogba does. Pogba gets injured way too much.
Guys, one at a time. So, Fixer. So let's just say now I'm in charge. I go, listen, Fixer. I'm taking your advice. I've sold Paul Pogba. I got 100 mil for him. We've bought in Ndidi. Great. That solidifies our central midfield for me, because I think if you stick Fred or McTominay next to him, the double pivots banging. Who's now going to be our creative spark going forward? Who's going to set up the chances? Who is going to knit things together moving forward? Because we have good goal scorers in Bruno and Rashford and the like, but none of them are creative. So now what? Who do you buy? I just dropped 70 mil on Ndidi. You got 30 mil left. Who are you buying?
Well, the players out there. The players out there, bro.
You're done. You're in the mud, bro, because you know that it's impossible. We have to re-sign Pogba. We have to keep Paul Pogba.
For 30 million. Are you comparing Pogba to 30 million? Pogba is worth 100 million. You can't just
exactly. But you spent half of it. You spent most of it on Ndidi, my brother. So that's your choice, my friend.
It don't make
sense.
Yeah,
but Pogba is not doing the work for us. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is one game, and you guys are killing your genes. Like,
not one game. It's another game. It's another game.
One game.
Terry, Terry, when we were top of the league and we were winning games 1-0 by the odd goal, who was scoring these goals?
Pogba. He scored like 4 goals. He scored one against West Ham, scored one against Southampton.
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
How come you can tell me
one against Fulham?
How can you tell me the goals he scored? You can literally ask you who he can get.
I'm sorry, man.
Sitting there looking at
He's a good player, no doubt.
You're a paying member.
Man,
you're a member of the terrace. You're a great guy, but you're dead in the water tonight, bro. You're out of here. Thank you very much. Absolutely finished. But this is what you get all the time. It's think about what you're asking for, and then who's going to come in and replace. If you said, do you know what? I'm happy. Let's go by Grealish because Grealish can play. Then cool. You've got. No one has an answer, and it has to be realistic. When people say get rid of
Verratti, I said Verratti. And the thing is, he's still not as good as Pogba, but he's probably the closest available. And I say available because
But
PSG
the
ain't
point
selling
is,
him.
Paris Saint-Germain, exactly, and this is
So unless you do a swap.
I remember when someone said to me like before about there are better left wingers in the Prem than Rashford that I'd prefer to have, and they named Raheem Sterling and Mane, and at the time Eden Hazard. I said, yeah, all three can't be signed. So what? Who else do we go for? Like, you can't sign those players. Again, it's not FIFA. It's not Football Manager, where what you do is you create another user and you manage a club where you really want a player that won't sell to Man United, and you keep making him unhappy. You make him unhappy all the time, and then you can go in and buy him, and you put in a £2 million bid and you accept it, and you cheat, right? We've all done that on Football Manager. That isn't how real life works. You can't sign players from your main rivals, or very, very rarely. Aaron's with us now. Aaron's a Donny fan. What do you want to say? Hang on. What is that T-shirt, bruv? Come on.
Oh, it's Hawaii sensation, bruv.
All right, come on.
First thing I will say is I never thought I'd see the day that Donny would play more attractive football than Spurs. It's brilliant. I'm loving every minute. Look, from my United's perspective, first half was poor. Second half, Pogba was the difference. That's the short and long of it. I think Paul Pogba on the left wing when Rashford came off. I think Rashford came off on an injury point of view, so I understood that. But I still didn't understand why Diallo didn't come on and in that position. But Pogba on the wing worried me. But on my life, that goal, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Talking about Tottenham. Mate, I never thought Spurs would make Donny Rovers look like Man City on a daily basis. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. This Orsic guy. Now, I've seen like highlight videos on YouTube from the Croatian Premiership from time to time. I knew he was good for that league, but tonight he made his name tonight. He made his name. And you see, Marcus Rashford, when he was a kid a few years ago, he made his name on the Europa League stage, and look where he is now. He's first team pretty much every week.
Do you know how old Orsic is, my friend?
Well, he's a Croatian winger from Dinamo, obviously Dinamo Zagreb, Croatian winger. And he's one of the top players in the Croatian Premiership. So
how old is Orsic?
27.
Close to 28, but the way he was talking about him there, it made it sound like he's some young up and coming winger. But I'm like, bro, the man's an old man, fam.
No, trust me, he's a prime player. So he's got the experience in the Croatian Premiership. He's a good player for that league, but he's made his name in the Europa League tonight, like Marcus Rashford.
You tried to finesse it. Said, do you ever remember that time where I think the Daily Mirror did a joke where they pretended Liverpool were about to sign this player that actually played for Sky One's Dream Team to see how many other newspapers would just copy their story. That's what Aaron did there. Aaron's out there making up names.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joe. Massive respect. And we'll give you 3 points on Saturday against Gillingham before we go into the England stuff for Anko Dons. Spurs made us look like Guardiola. Spurs made us look like Guardiola. Imagine De Bruyne and Fajiri Aguero.
Thank you very much, bro. I love him. And he comes the other day. He came on it. It was a really big game, maybe the North London derby. Had he say, and he spoke for 2 minutes about how bad Doncaster Rovers are. The thing about it is now, I find myself checking on Doncaster Rovers results because how often he comes on the show. Next on for us is this guy's MUFC. I can't pronounce. No, is it Ahad something gaming? But his name's MUFC is his user. Actually, no. We're going to go to Chucky. Our guy Chucky's in the house. What are you saying, brother?
Yo, what are you, man, saying? You're good. I'm a happy man. I'm a happy man, you man.
Yes,
I'm happy. What needed to be done, got done. But one or two things I've got to say. First of all, people have short memories. Pogba comes on. He comes on the left. And everyone's like, what's going on? Are you not dumb? I mean, seriously, are people actually dumb? Is that not what Pogba's been doing well before he got injured? And what else is going to happen? Man United don't have no tactics. It was clear to me, big Pogba run, try and steal a goal, control the rest of the match. You don't have to like the tactics, but stop denying there's tactics going on out there. That's the first thing I got to say. Also, Terry, I know why a lot of fans get confused. It is genuinely FIFA. You mentioned FIFA, but I'm not playing. Actually, it is genuinely FIFA. Last year on FIFA, Kessie, right at the end of the season, got a very high-powered card. It was overpowered.
Kessie blood.
I'm being deadly serious. That fact there will stay in so many people's minds, and they'll think, I couldn't get past him. and he can score a goal. He's got 86 striking. Obviously, Man United should go for him, and he says he loves United. So people do get gaslight and get happy over things that happen on FIFA, and the wires get crossed. If you know what I'm saying, that's just where it is.
I always remember a very. Mate, I hear you. Listen, I remember thinking that Kieran Richardson was going to be brilliant because he won World Player of the Year for me in 2006 on Football Manager. But there's a very famous story that Jason Manford tells. He tells it as a joke, but about 80% of the story is true. Where he was at an event. He's a very famous comedian from Manchester. And he said he was at an event and there were some City and Man United players there. And he took his dad. They're both big City fans. And he said a few of the City lads were talking to him and they were shaking hands. Oh, boy, how nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And Michael Richards came over and said hello. And he said he just basically like cut his eye off at him and didn't shake his hand and like blanked him. And when all the players left, he goes, my dad pulled me. I said, why were you so horrible to Michael Richards? And he's like, I don't know why I was horrible to Micah. It come over me when he was here. I don't know why. He goes, it wasn't until I was driving home an hour later that I realized. He said, last week when I was playing Football Manager, he turned up to training late and I was annoyed with him, right? And it's almost true. I used to play Football Manager so much that I'd sometimes get confused when really watching Man United, whether who was actually in form or not. Who was in form on my game or who was in form in real life. And fans are still doing it now. But no one when I was growing up judged real life football based on computer games. And I know they do now.
Yeah, Aaron said Orsic made his name from this game. Nah, my brother. He made his name last year with his cards on FIFA, fam. His card on FIFA was mad. Yo, Chucky, you should know the one. Orsic, bro. Team of the year, headliner, second in form. All of them mad Orsic, bro. That's how you knew. That's how you knew about this guy.
You know what makes it worse though is because FIFA actually do base some of these stats based on actual performance. So people think that's validation, and they think FIFA are obviously the governing body of everything. And it's seriously, as in, you lot might laugh. It's a serious problem. As in, a lot of people genuinely take FIFA as base value. And based on their football knowledge on that.
I've had people phone in before. I've legitimately, I don't know, Adam, if you come across this and you've been around a long time on socials, I've had people rate players based on how many fantasy football points they get.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just listening to you all here. I mean, I feel like a dinosaur right now. I feel like Sam Allardyce right now listening to you lot go on here. But I'm just like thinking, is this really what all these absolute numpties are that are coming back at me on Twitter who just sound absolutely clueless? Is this actually what it is?
It is.
Because they're questioning me on what I know about coaching. Nothing at all about what I used to play, where I used to play, what my football history is. You just don't know. People actually judging me against someone else's opinion on Twitter through how many followers they've actually got on Twitter. I'm like, did you just say that? Did you just say this guy's got half as many followers on Twitter? I'm like, do you realize what Twitter is? It's not like the Football Foundation, you know. Twitter, you'll follow someone simply because he makes ludicrous comments all the time and you just want to see what the idiot says next. That's why you follow people on Twitter half of the time. But this is literally what some people come, and I can't figure out what they're saying. I'm like, where are you coming from with this? There's nothing in real life that backs you up at all. And I'm like, all right, it's all clear now. It's come down to FIFA cards. And last time I played FIFA, I mean, you think there was only one way you could score a goal on it, and that was just like the same computerized option every single time. I think it was on the Mega Drive. I think that's the last time I played it.
In the 90s, bro. These kids don't know. But no, Adam, you are right, and you get it a lot. People will. I'm going to follow this person because he's got 100,000 followers, and that must mean he knows more about football. And so a lot of people out there with lots of followers have good football knowledge, and they want to base it. My biggest thing is eye test merchants, because I understand eye tests are very important in football. So how you think and feel when a player looks. But to back eye tests up, there has to be some facts. You can't be like, my striker's the best striker. Why? The eye test, bro. Yeah, but his conversion rate's 10% and he scored 10 league goals 3 years running. My striker's got 30 league goals. Yeah, but my guy looks better when he's doing it. That's what eye test means. I get that. For me, the eye test lets you judge the level of a player's ability. And then you put players at the same ability category. You look at the facts based on what role they're in. You know what I mean? My goalie might pull off 4 or 5 brilliant saves a season, but if he's leaking lows through his legs, it's like, they've got to weigh each other up. And this generation now is addicted to computer games. They're addicted to who has the best, not the best stats. It's things like fantasy points or my player does 16 dribbles a game though. Your player does 7, but my guy scored 20 goals and your guy scored 2. Like we have people on the show that actually say that Traore is twice the player Marcus Rashford is.
Oh, someone came on my stream round about half time in the game, and they said to me, Bruno, he's got 54 pass completion, and my reply was, I don't give a shit. I honestly don't give a shit. That to me is a player, and you guys touched on it on bottling before. This is what I judge bottling as. Call it old school dinosaur again, whatever you want to say. But for me, it's a player that doesn't change the way he's playing, no matter how bad things are going. That's a guy who's not a bottler to me. That's what I always said about Pogba. So no matter how bad it's going, he won't change his style of football. He'll keep on believing in what's got him to the top. I believe that is what Bruno is. The only problem Bruno's got is he's got Fred and McTominay behind him, and he's got 3 forwards who are completely out of form in front of him. And it's hard. You start trying things that you shouldn't be trying. You start trying to force things you shouldn't try and force. And sometimes you just get rolled into the form as it is. But it's like all these statisticians now. It's just like, I don't care how many misplaced passes. How many goals has he got? How many games has he won? Where are we in the league table? These are the stats that I look at. I don't care for pass completion. I don't see Bruno Fernandes as that type of player. I know what Bruno Fernandes is. I know how he plays football. So I expect him to do what he does. He's not Paul Pogba. He's a totally different player. Paul Pogba brings qualities that are just on a level Bruno can't compete with. But then Bruno has his side and his way of playing football. It's matching them together and building a team around them two. That is the way forward for Manchester United, in my opinion. So you can stick stats where the sun don't shine, in my case. It's all about what them players bring. And they're the players you build the team around, in my opinion, because they're the winners.
Terry, I gotta go.
I see that, Neeks.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we get Slavia Prague in the next round. And
Please.
I'd love them in the next round. We're going to be live for draws tomorrow, people. We'll be live for both Champions League and Europa League draws. Do you know what I like what you said there? See, I love stats, but I like important stats, as you say. So when it comes to someone who's a goal scorer, I want to look at how many goals they score, conversion rates, etc. I like looking at that. It shows you how good they are. And people always say things to me like I remember when Maradona sadly passed away, people said, see, he was a player that weren't about stats. It was all about how he looked. And then you checked, and it was the guy had more goal contributions than he had appearances in his professional career. All world-class attackers have really good stats because you have to deliver to be world-class. Where I don't like stats is, like you've said, you'll have a Bruno that is brilliant at 3 or 4 things. He's amazing. But people focus on something that he may be not great at, which is having almost perfect accuracy in his passing. But why is his passing not accurate? A lot of the time, even tonight, 3 or 4 times in the second half, he's trying to thread that ball that's going to put us through on goal. Those passes always get taken out a lot more than sort of simple sideways passes. But you need a risk taker in a team. You need someone that's going to take those risks to open teams up. We moaned at Man United for 2 years when Lingard and Pereira were in his role, and they weren't trying to take those risks. Every pass was simple. It was easy. The really famous story that Rio tells, his first training session at Man United, and they were doing passing drills. And he said he had the ball, and it was a hard pass on, but he played the simple pass to not lose possession. And Roy Keane barked at him, grabbed him, and said, you're at Man United, you don't take the easy way out. You look for that risky pass. Sometimes you're going to lose it, and then your teammates will help recover the ball and will cover you. But you've got to take the risks. That's why we win more games than all of our opponents, because we're quality players, but we take those risks. What I find with another thing the FIFA generation has done, and maybe the Americanization a little bit of our game, is people have become too supportive of individual players within the team. I was a Beckham fan growing up because I'm from Leytonstone, so was he. But if Beckham weren't playing, it wasn't like, Blomqvist is in for him today. I don't want him to score because I love Beckham. And I saw it tonight. People go, I actually saw United fans tweeting Bruno's in the mud because Pogba scored. And I just think to myself, you're not well. I don't think you're well as a person if that's how you support a football team. That for me, all stems from that same place. It's like people stats to like ridicule people, but then ignore all the things they're brilliant at, which is weird because you can always find a stat. I think if you look hard enough, you'll find a stat about most top quality players that looks bad. when you take it out of context. And they did it to Pogba. This is the irony in it. They did it to Pogba only 2 years ago, where they showed these walking stats in games.
So Terry,
I was like, okay, sorry, mate. I was like, okay, cool. But show me everybody else that plays in these positions walking stats to at least give me the context of how bad or good or normal his walking is. And no one ever does. And I did the thing on Bruno when I looked at how many times he loses the ball in a game. He loses the ball on average only one time per game more than KDB does. And how many people focus on how often KDB is losing the ball? They don't. They only do it to Bruno. Rivals can do it, and I get it. Man United fans doing it. You're only doing it to try and elevate Pogba. But you don't need to slam Bruno to say how good Paul Pogba is. Say they're both brilliant. That's what most fans of football clubs do. Sorry, Cam.
So I have a question for you, because you've said the kind of globalization thing more than once about like the singular player. And you know me, I follow a lot of different sport, and I can be completely honest with you. I've never really, I've only really experienced it when I started watching football heavily, like European football, because like Marshall FC, that stuff doesn't happen. Like you don't hear, like I support a bunch of different teams. Like I've never been like Vince Carter Raptors. Like I've never, like we like singular players, but this whole Marshall FC, Pogba FC, Bruno, like that, I don't know where that is.
My knowledge on that's anecdotal. I've had people like a gal said, I've had a few other sort of North American viewers of football that basically said it's like an American thing. That's what we do.
We love singular players, but where we've kind of ruined about is basically what Adam said, where a lot of people basing stuff on FIFA, a lot of those people that are doing that are North Americans because they don't get to watch the game as much. So when they talk about players, they're basing
in the States, would somebody change the team they support if a player leaves and moves?
Only if that player is transcendent, and that's he's got to be. I mean, I'm talking like Tom Brady, but or Michael Jordan.
Yeah, so I get that. What happens with a lot of these players is people like Martial's a great example. A lot of fans try and pick a player that they think is going to transcend and be the next Ronaldo, whatever, and then what they do is they spend years chatting shit, trying to elevate that. And I love Martial. To say he's on Mbappe's level is stupid, but people will do whatever they can to push that agenda. And you just feel it. And it's like, I know that Rashford isn't the best left-sided attacker in the Premier League, but it's not going to stop me loving and celebrating him and talking about how good he is. What I don't like seeing is Man United fans that overtly criticize him, trash him, disrespect him, and are nasty about him. I don't see the mileage in that. I don't see the mileage in ripping into your own play, especially as if one dude I know is a massive Pogba fan, but he hates Bruno. And I'm like, bro, if you got to meet your favorite player Pogba and went, all right, Pogba, nice to meet you. You know Bruno, yeah, he's a prick. Pogba's gonna think you're a knob. Like your favorite player thinks you're a dickhead for the way you go on. So why are you behaving like a prick? Sorry, Chucky, you were gonna say something.
Oh yeah, just 2 points. The first point is the half of family are American, but the comparison that Igal might have been trying to make is actually directly going back to what's his face? Oh man, gone brain dead now. LeBron. It's LeBron. It's the whole LeBron versus Michael Jordan thing that went on for years. And LeBron moving from whenever he moved from, I say club, it's not club,
Cleveland
from team to team.
Miami.
A hell of a lot of followers did go with LeBron, and the same way a hell of a lot of followers left him because of how he dealt with Cleveland. So that's the link there, the modern Americanization that you're trying to compare it to. I see that. Second of all, you kind of alluded on it. If you look at Paul Pogba and look at Bruno Fernandes, they do not want to be apart. They don't. Both of those men want to be on the same team. It makes it easier for each other. Bruno Fernandes, have you been hearing the words? Bruno Fernandes is cutting a frustrated figure. He's far less frustrated when Paul Pogba's there for two reasons. First of all, there's less attention on Bruno Fernandes, one. Second of all, he's not feeling like he's going mad and he's the only person with the way of football and the footballing knowledge that's that advanced to be playing. So Paul Pogba needs Bruno Fernandes as much as Bruno Fernandes probably needs Paul Pogba more so. That's just two things I wanted to say. I don't like talking over people, but yeah, that's just my 2 points.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Like we need more of them in different positions. You know, we need better centre backs. We need better hold of field players. We need more creative attackers. You know, imagine throwing a Jadon Sancho or Jack Grealish into that mix as well. Suddenly, that's why City is so good. City is so good because if Mahrez doesn't turn up, there's Bernardo Silva, there's Raheem Sterling, they've just got an abundance of quality that can do that. And we need to aim. That's my only fear about Jack Grealish coming in. It's not like personal fear. It's that somebody then gets their knickers in a twist because Ahmad's going to start building up a really healthy fan base, and Greenwood's got a big fan base, and it's I've even seen people like a lot of people last year when we were linked with Haaland didn't want him purely because they knew it meant that Martial would be dropped. That for me, I will say this: if you worry about your favorite player being dropped and not the betterment of your team, I'll call you a hoax red. You're not a true fan. Your first thought should be what's better for the team and not what's better for the individual player that I like. And end of the day, whether I love Rashford's my favorite player at Man United. He isn't the best, but he's my favorite. But if he's on the bench every week, but you've got Grealish and Sancho and Pogba and Haaland putting all the goals in, I don't care what Rashford's doing.
And the thing is, neither will he. He won't care either, though. That's the best part about it. He will be a player like Rashford would be on the bench and he would be applauding every goal. And those are the players we need in our team. And that's the problem right now. It's like this whole putting people against each other. These players are sitting there hoping for the best for the players on the pitch. And what you said there, Terry, is like, yes, if we go get Haaland, if we go get Sancho, and then Rashford has to sit out half the games of the season, you're not going to see Rashford going to the media saying, get me on the pitch so I can get my points up, so I can get my goals up, my assists up. He's going to be, I'm winning trophies with Manchester United. And that's the type of player in the profile we need to continue to get. I've never understood the people who want a player to do badly or a coach to do badly so that they can have their agendas fulfilled. It doesn't make sense.
No,
that's all I deal with every single day. I've got loads of them people. I laugh at them now. I really do. If trading Martial in for Haaland and it works better for us, it has to be done. Like you said, whatever works best for the team. If Rashford, I don't think he ever will, but if Rashford at some point had to leave, you deal with it. All our best and favourite players, I've seen many of my favourite players go, and we've always replaced them. Right now, we're going through a phase where that's not as easy to do. And I don't think it's going to be any easier this summer either. But if it does come to that and it works better for the team and it's backing a manager for the style of football he wants to play and he's finding players out there that he knows are going to work better for what he wants to do, you have to go with it. But like you said, they just don't. They're just absolutely blind to it.
And without trying to sound like a stalker, I've been watching you from afar, Adam, for a long time. And like your content and stuff that you do. And for me, so something I know about, I know your thoughts on Ollie. But I also know if Ollie started turning it around, winning more, better football, winning trophies, you'd turn around and be like, I didn't see that coming. I got that, or I got that wrong. And I'm happy the team's winning. These people with agendas, I feel like if Ollie turned it round, they would spend an eternity trying to downplay it. Oh, yeah, but it's the league's got weaker. It's because Pep left. It's because, this happened here. No, if we'd have won the league this year, it would have been because there was no fans. It would have been because Pogba carried him through. And that's the problem I have with those kind of things. You should be able to admit when you were wrong about something and move forward. At the same time, just want the best for your team and your club. That's what supporting's about for me. We have a super chat here. That says Bruno is going to get the same treatment as Costa and Suarez in the Premier League, just not likable players. If Bruno wasn't playing for you guys, you would hate him. Listen, you can't compare the hate Suarez got to what Bruno and Costa got. Suarez, majority of his hate before the disgusting thing he did to Evra, the guy bit people. The guy was an outright cheat, one of the worst divers ever. Plus, he's a bona fide racist. So I wouldn't compare that. But yeah, Costa. But listen, of course you do. You always hate players like Bruno. Bruno has a bit of Ronaldo about him. Like he always whinges. He whinges, and that will always wind people up. But that's because his standards are so high, and we moan as a fan base that too many people lower Man United standards. We have a player that wants to raise them, and then we moan about it. The other week, what was that other nonsense when Rashford told him to shut the fuck up. He wouldn't have done that to Cavani. Yes, he would. Footballers talk like that to each other all the time, and that tells me you're either a liar or you've never been in a changing room. You've never been on a football pitch. It's what happens. Like, and I don't know what level you play away with the stuff you've done, like Adam, in that way, but it's like we all know that goes on all the time. And only this weekend you heard Maguire say the same thing to AWB. And the only reason we're hearing it more now is because there's no bloody fans. You wouldn't have heard it otherwise. Yeah, it's so much crazy stuff. But listen, everyone who's tuned in today, thank you. We're back tomorrow from 10 a.m. with both the draws for the Champions League and the Europa League. Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Man United and Arsenal all involved. Rangers are gone. Bye-bye, Stevie Gerrard. I don't feel no sorry for him at all. Spurs absolutely dead and buried in the mud. Make sure you're back with us tomorrow morning. Adam, KJ, Cam, Chucky. Who else was on tonight? Neeks. Johnny was on. Bits and bobs. I might have been missing somebody else as well. Fixer called in as well. Man like Aaron. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.